Hello fellow sim racers. In today's video I'm going to talk about the Elgato Stream Deck, which isn't really a product that's aimed at sim racers. But it's a versatile little piece of kit, and I think it's a pretty interesting alternative to a conventional button box. First of all, to make things clear, I have no affiliation with Elgato, and I'm making this video today simply because I'm impressed with the product. So impressed in fact that I own two of them. For those that aren't familiar with the Stream Deck, it's a 15-button USB controller that's pitched at Twitch streamers and the like to help them manage their streams. But the Stream Deck's USP is that there's an LCD panel behind the clear buttons, which allows you to display icons for each button. Not only does it allow for fast identification of the button's functions at a glance, but it also means that you can have multiple profiles, pages, folders, etc., each displaying different configurations of buttons depending on your needs at the time. And it turns out that in practice, that's pretty powerful. I mentioned earlier that I own two Stream Decks. Today I'm demonstrating the one that's attached to my editing computer because there's more space to place the camera and lights, but to all intents and purposes they're identical. I've got my screen set up here with the Stream Deck software on the right so you can see what's going on behind the scenes. First of all, let's talk about what the Stream Deck can do. Beyond the obvious key binding, the Stream Deck software has a bunch of integrations with other programs, though these are mostly aimed at streamers. If you fall into that category, then there's lots of great stuff, but for most sim racers, the basic commands that I've got displayed in the right hand column will be of most interest. Creating button maps is simple. Drag the hotkey icon onto a spare button slot, give the button icon an image, and then assign a hotkey that matches your in-game control. You can also create folders in the same way, and they can be nested inside each other, meaning that you're not limited to 15 buttons. So, let me take you through the test profile that I've created for this video to give you some idea how I use the Stream Deck as a sim racing button box. On the main page, I have a series of folders for each of the driving games I play. If we go into a folder, you can see that I've mapped a bunch of common button box functions that I use frequently in Assetto Corsa. These include car controls as well as some other utilities like game volume and the recenter HMD button for when I'm using VR. And for most games, it's as simple as that. If we go back out and take a look at iRacing, I've pretty much got the Stream Deck set up to do all of the black box functions. But here's another idea I've been toying with. What about individual folders with car-specific controls? For example, if I want to drive the Toyota LMP1 car in Assetto Corsa, I need access to energy recovery and deployment controls, but I don't need to see buttons for ABS or turbo boost levels, for example. I've not really explored the idea fully yet, but it's something I can see myself doing more of in the future. I mentioned earlier that the Stream Deck has an LCD panel placed behind the clear buttons. This is split into an array that leaves you with space for 15 72 by 72 pixel icons. Elgato have thoughtfully created a browser-based icon builder which you can access via a drop-down on each of the button icons. And it actually works pretty well and produces some nice looking icons. But all of the icons you've seen in this video were created in Adobe Illustrator because it's more flexible. And thanks to a suggestion from John on Twitter who spotted them in a previous video, I've decided to make these available to the community for anyone else out there that's got a Stream Deck. I've also included the source files that those who want to add anything that I may have missed. There's a link to the download in the video description. So while I'm a big fan of the Stream Deck, it's not perfect. The first issue is the stand, which works perfectly if you're using it on a desktop. But if you've got a cockpit of some sort, you're going to have to find a creative way of mounting it. And then there's the USB cable, which is less than a meter long, making it totally useless in almost all applications without the use of a USB extension cable or hub. And finally, the price may be off-putting for some. At £127, I don't think it's expensive, but compared to, say, a USB number pad, which sort of achieves the same goal of being a button box for less than 10% of the price, I guess it could look pretty extravagant. That being said, I personally think the flexibility and customization that the Stream Deck affords is well worth the money. I use the Stream Deck extensively on a daily basis for my professional work and when I'm putting together all of this YouTube stuff. But I've also started to integrate one into my sim racing. First of all, I wanted something to control the replay cameras and recording software, but I quickly started using it as an extension of my conventional button box. Sure, it doesn't look as cool as some of the better button box offerings on the market, but the flexibility and customization that the Stream Deck affords actually makes it a pretty effective sim racing button box. So that about wraps things up here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then it would be great if you could hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you think the video will be helpful for others, then please consider sharing it. As always, thank you for donating your precious free time by watching. It is very much appreciated. So all that's left to say is goodbye, thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.